Hello everyone, Shawn, Stepner, Joe Buscaglia with you. We are talking 2016 Buffalo Bills schedule. Joe, let's run down the first 4 weeks for the good people. We start on the road at Baltimore. The home opener, a Thursday nighter against the Jets. Week 3, again, home to Arizona, and then away in Foxborough. What do you think?
Well, I think the thing that sticks out more than anything, obviously, Week 2 right there against the New York Jets. Big circle on that one because, well, it's the home opener. It's the first time the Bills get a primetime home game since 2012. The Ralph is going to be raucous. I cannot wait to see the crowd that night. It's going to be an insane asylum, pretty much. It's going to be a sight to behold. And then, you know, it's a pretty tough slate of games here. Baltimore, Jets, Arizona, New England. I think the Bills need to come out of that stretch 2-2 to keep afloat here.
Game 1 of the season, we're talking Tyrod Taylor going back to the Ravens. We're talking about Ed Reed back in his old stomping grounds. And John Urschel, Western New York native, Canisius high school grad. He plays for the Ravens, taking on his hometown Bills. All right, let's go to the next 4 games. And, hey, Week 5, the reborn Los Angeles Rams, the Bills head out to L.A. and then back home for another West Coast team, but this time in Orchard Park. We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers divisional game in Miami. And then, listen, we are done with the New England Patriots in Week 8.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to point out here. I mean, home against New England to end the first half of the season. I mean, you get the Patriots out of the way in that first half, and now you know what you have to go through in the second half of the season. I mean, there's no more of the Patriots game looming over the rest of the season, so the Bills will have those out of the way. Also, going out to L.A., the first of 3 road trips. That'll be the first time they go. Should be interesting, especially because they could be going up against a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, we're talking about road trips out west. Speaking of, hey, Week 9, Monday nighter, November 7th in Seattle. That is going to be very tough, and that is putting it lightly. They come back east, sort of. Well, definitely come back east, but they're in Cincinnati, away. Home to Jacksonville, and then back out to California in Oakland.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit of a tough stretch, but in between the Seattle and Cincinnati game, they've got a bye week in there, so that helps, you know, helps them revamp a little bit. They'll have 13 games in between the Seattle and Cincinnati game. That'll help things coming back from the West, certainly. I mean, Seattle game, super tough. I mean, they are absolutely horrible to play on the road in Seattle, especially on a Monday night game. That place will be rocking. I'm excited to see CenturyLink Field. Cincinnati is a place that they haven't gone in a while now. I mean, I think Stevie Johnson's big game in Cincy was the last time they were there. So that'll be another good game. Jacksonville's a sneaky game, as is Oakland. Oakland on the road, they have a very talented roster. You know, I'd be on the lookout for that one. But they need to come out of this game. They need to beat Jacksonville. They need to get one of these other ones, too, to stay afloat there.
Yeah, again, important to note, between Seattle and Cincinnati is Week 10, and that is the Bills' bye week right there. All right, so this is how we finish up. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Miami, all at home, and then you have the New York Jets. And you may remember back in Week 8, is the last divisional game for Buffalo, and that was the New England Patriots. And then you don't play another divisional game until Miami at home on Christmas Eve, New Year's Day. We're talking about the Bills in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, that's a very important part of this because 4 of their first 8 games are against AFC East teams, so you can get a pretty finite idea of where you're going to stack up in the AFC East with only those last 2 to go. And conversely, I mean, you've got teams that have a slew of division games down the stretch, not so for the Bills. But this is a vital stretch right here. If the Bills are still in it, which I'm assuming they will be, they have a talented enough roster to be, at home against Pittsburgh, at home against the hapless Cleveland Browns, who they should absolutely destroy this year because they are barren of all talent, and at home against Miami, who probably will be out of it by that time of the season. That is a critical stretch. I think they need to win all 3 of those games if they have hopes and dreams of the playoffs. And then away at the Jets, we all know about Rex and the Jets, and it should be fun, especially if it's on the flip side where the Jets might be playing spoiler roles and the Bills might be going for the playoffs. Last time it was in Buffalo. This time it could be in New York. storylines abundant.
We'll see how it all plays out. And, you know, on the whole, you look at the schedule, and, you know, on the surface, it looks like that first portion, that first half of the schedule, really definitely tougher than the second half. If you make it through that first half around 500, maybe a game above 500, you're sitting pretty. You're looking okay. Again, this is April. It's April 14th. We don't know about the draft. We don't know about, you know, how these teams look come September. But right now, you're looking at, if you make it through that first portion of the schedule, the second half looks pretty good for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they need to rack up a few wins that you wouldn't normally expect them to, whether it be a game against Baltimore, maybe Cincinnati, something along those lines. They're going to have to sneak one out that a lot of people are probably counting them out with to make it to the postseason. But you know what? To make it to the playoffs, you have to beat good teams. And that's exactly what's on the Bills' schedule. I mean, there aren't a lot of breaks on here outside of San Francisco and Cleveland and maybe Miami. Everything else is going to be tough sledding for them. So they need to get this thing going, and it starts off right away with Baltimore on the road.
All right, he's Joe. I'm Shawn. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.